ご来場の皆さん、そして中継をご覧になっている世界中のスプラトゥーンファンの皆さん、こんにちは。
To everyone here in the booth and to all the Splatoon fans watching around the world from home, hello and welcome.
私は人の姿に変身する不思議なイカを研究しているイカ研究所の研究員です。
I am a researcher from Squid Research Labs, and we make it our business to study these mysterious squid-like creatures.
今日は通訳として助手を一人連れてきました。
Today I've brought an assistant with me to help with translation.
スプラトゥーンの世界大会がいよいよ開催されます。
Well, it is finally time for this worldwide Splatoon 2 tournament.
いかがですか皆さん。この世界各地から4つのチームが並んだこの光景。
What do you think, everybody? We've brought together 4 of the best teams from around the world.
まるで昨年の10月、任天堂スイッチにおいて新種のイカが発見された時のあの光景が蘇ったかのようです。
To me, it's almost as though we've been able to bring to life those scenes we witnessed in the Switch video from last year in October, where we discovered a new form of Inkling.
発売前から世界一を決めようというのもちょっと気の早い話ですが、
While we may be getting a bit ahead of ourselves to decide the world's greatest team before the game has been released,
今日は各地のスプラトゥーントーナメントを勝ち抜いたトッププレイヤーたちの熱い戦いを皆さんと一緒にじっくり研究したいと思います。
all of these players have won their own regional tournaments to get to this stage, and I look forward to enjoying and researching their exciting Splatoon play with all of you.
選手の皆さん、頑張って、そして試合を楽しんでください。
To all the players here, we wish you the best of luck, and most importantly, make sure to have fun.
Good luck!
Since release in 2015, Splatoon has become an international phenomenon. Teams have battled, they've splatted, and they've made it rain. The best squid squads have fought their way to the top, and now that the ink has settled, the turf has been won, 4 teams are left swimming. Team Dynamo, Rising Moon, Blue-Ringed Octolings, and Team Deadbeat. Now they've descended onto the City of Angels to take part in the first ever 2017 Splatoon 2 World Inkling Invitational, with the hope of getting their hands on the most beautiful piece of metal in the world. An award so perfect, it stands as a beacon for squids and kids all over the world. An award etched with the names of players that will make history today. A trophy with a name so splatastic, it will be remembered throughout the ages. The one, the only. This just says insert trophy name here. You need a name for the trophy. Every good trophy has a name. Oh boy, here it is. The Splatoon Sterling Squid. So who will be crowned the greatest Splatoon players on Earth? Get ready to splat!
Good afternoon, E3, and welcome to the 2017 Splatoon World Inkling Invitational. I'm Jordan Kent. I'll be your spray-by-spray host for this tournament. Joining me on my left, we have Ashley Esqueda, our lead Splatalist, and on her left, our Inkspert from Nintendo Treehouse, Eric Smith. As you saw, we have 4 of the finest Splatoon teams in the world converging right here on this stage for a fantastic tournament. And before we get to the tournament layout, Ashley, these teams have inked their way through some of the best competition. Share a little bit with us as far as their journey to get here.
They have all come a long way to get here. Dynamo in Japan beat out over 700 teams collectively at the Koshien, Splatoon Koshien. And then Deadbeat, US Inkling Open champions, only dropped 1 match, which was amazing. Blue-Ringed Octolings ended up winning the 2017 Australia-New Zealand Splatoon Cup. And then Europe, Rising Moon, coming, not only beating everyone in their home country of France, but also all of Europe in the ESL Go for Splatoon Europe Grand Final.
Very impressive resumes for all of our teams. And Eric, why don't you share with the folks how things are going to get started with this tournament today?
Sure thing. We're going to start with a round robin where each team will play each other once. We'll then move to the elimination phase, where we'll have some best-of-5 series, and then the grand finals, which will be a best-of-7.
You mentioned that best-of-5 and then the best-of-7 in the grand finals. You'll get a chance to see a variety of game modes and maps on display in this tournament build. And it's very exciting to see what these teams can do. They've had a chance to familiarize themselves with the game. And one thing that we see from these teams here, Eric, is just their ability to communicate so well. Share with us how these teams will be communicating today, and then of course when we get our hands on our copies a little bit later, how we can communicate with each other.
But of course, so these teams today are wearing the same sort of headsets you see like on other sort of competitive video game competitions. But when the game comes out, players will actually be able to voice chat with each other via an app that you download. For smart devices, we will be communicating actually more about that functionality closer to launch.
Obviously, getting the chance to chat with each other, very important. And Ashley, we get started with Turf War here. It's how we all fell in love with Splatoon at the very beginning, our very first introduction to it. But however, these players are a little bit better than you and I.
A little bit, yeah.
When they get to Turf War, what are some of the things they're keeping in mind as far as the beginning and then especially the end of each match?
Well, obviously, the name of the game is ink. So Turf War is all about putting ink on the ground. It's not necessarily about splatting your opponent. It's about having the most ink at the end of the round. So you're going to see these players play at a very high level. There's going to be a lot of mobility. It's going to go really fast. They are moving so quick. They're getting behind. You're going to see flanking. You're going to see lane kind of management. It's going to be great. You're going to see all of the teams kind of work towards coming into a center location on the map and really fighting for that real key piece of territory.
Eric, last minute of each match, we've talked to every team. They've talked about how it's so important to make sure you don't get splatted because that's how the tide can turn in any match.
Absolutely. If you get splatted in the last minute, you're taking yourself out of the equation and you're outnumbered. The enemy team is able to ink way more than you are at that point, so you got to stay alive.
Well, we've talked about 4 of the finest teams here. Let's take a closer look at one of them. Our team representing Europe, here's a look at Rising Moon.
Stonehenge, Easter Island, Roswell, Rising Moon. This team, comprised of so-called Europeans, has traveled to Los Angeles to compete at the 2017 Splatoon 2 World Inkling Invitational. But where did they really come from? Anonymous sources trace their origins back to the mysterious place called France. These alleged shapeshifters have adopted the guise of a polite demeanor, yet beneath that facade lurks some of the most intense, cryptic, and enigmatic gamers looking to dominate the competition and the competition's children. Binks is an unhinged maniac with the blasters, and the mainstream media doesn't want you to know that after achieving rank of S+99, he immediately devoured his controller.
I did achieve S+99, but I did not eat my controller. Why would anyone do that?
The real question is, why wouldn't anyone ever not do that? Cebu, Boy.
It's Cebu.
If I'm not mistaken, that's an ancient Mayan word meaning government covert government operative.
I don't think that's actually true.
How much are they paying you to say that?
Nobody's paying me.
How much? The one known as Cebu supposedly once annihilated 7 Inklings in 20 seconds. Then there is the one that message boards have dubbed Inky. This one has a reputation for lording over his minions in tower control.
You know, I'm just here to have fun. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose.
And if you're exposed as an Inkling race looking to achieve global Splatoon domination,
Then we win?
At least 12.5 anonymous message boards have designated Desai as a Charger fanatic who has played over 3,400 hours of Splatoon.
We're just here to have a good time and play Splatoon. We just love the game.
And you have an insatiable thirst for the ink of your enemies?
No, we'll just play them and hope we win.
It might look like Rising Moon is just an ordinary team who simply loves to play Splatoon. But they won't pull the wool over my eyes. Wait, did you see that? Did you see his eyes? Come back here. I knew it.
That is Rising Moon from Europe. And Binks, if you get the victory, try not to eat the controller, okay? We only have a select few here. Just try to keep your teeth off of that here. We're getting set for our first match. We've got Turf War on Starfish main stage. So let's take a closer look at this level and how these teams will approach it. You look at Starfish main stage. And in the middle, obviously a main stage. How fitting is that? The team that can lock that down, and that's going to be point number 1 on our map as we take a closer look. When these two teams get started, they're going to want to work their way to the middle of the stage here, Ashley. And Ashley, once you get to that middle of the stage, it's important to get a push into the enemy territory as well, too.
Indeed, you want to cut off any lane that your enemy is going to be able to come at you from. The main stage is really interesting because it is a little bit raised, so you're getting a really nice advantage from which to splat your opponents.
Yeah, there are a couple of side entrances to that main stage where if you're on it, you have to watch those or someone could sneak up behind you too, though.
And it's also interesting because there are a couple points in the main stage where if players are maneuverable, they can get to some perches and get some leverage and really try to flank the opposition, Ashley.
Yeah, this is going to be a key strategy on main stage. You're going to want to get up high, especially the Charger players for each of these teams. If they're running a Charger, you want to get that sniper up to the highest nest you can possibly find, even if it's the smallest sliver of inkable space, and have them start taking out their opponents.
And Ashley, we were talking with Dynamo before things got started, and they said it's very important for each player to have a specific role. So that means you're sometimes going to see different weapons from different characters, not everybody rolling out with the same weapon.
Yeah, you definitely want, we call it, if you're not familiar with competitive gaming, we call it a meta. So you want to have a really good balance. Some weapons don't perform as well long range, but you would see a Charger kind of take on somebody with a roller. So it looks like we are getting started. We're going for it.
We are getting started. Our very first match, Starfish, main stage, Dynamo going to be in the pink. Meanwhile, Rising Moon in the yellow. Rising Moon, they're going to go with the heavy splatling, a slosher, an octobrush, and a dynamo roller. Meanwhile, Dynamo, they've got a Charger, a splatter shot, throw, a slosher, and a roller. Early splat right there by Dynamo as they get the initial 4-3 advantage on the field. 2:30 left in this one, and already, actually, we see Dynamo going towards the middle of the map.
Yeah, Dynamo and we've got Kakashino and Dynamon getting taken out right there on the main stage. Binks is still up with a slosher, going crazy up there, trying to establish kind of positioning, and Muscular is coming up and going to try to support here with a roller.
Both teams fighting hard for that main stage right now. Nobody's really wrestled control of that. However, we start to see Rising Moon with the majority of the ink in the middle of this map. They're going to look to try to make a push into Dynamo territory here, Ashley.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you can see some of Rising Moon haven't quite filled out their area yet in terms of ink, and we're going to hopefully see them do that. What's going on over there?
Dynamon with the absolutely terrific splat on Cebu in midair. That's going to be critical. It's now a 4-3 advantage on the field for Dynamo. And the splat, however, it takes one roller to splat another roller as both teams still haven't seized control of the middle area here, Ashley.
Yeah, it's I think one of the most dangerous things in Splatoon 2 is going to be that vertical splash from that roller. That makes people like Dynamo very dangerous.
Kakashino getting splatted by Cebu's that very impressive right there. Meanwhile, we see a Stingray being deployed. Cebu with that octobrush, trying to get some work done in the middle. Meanwhile, Dynamo controlling the middle of this map still. Nobody able to make that initial push quite yet. However, we see Cebu getting splatted once again by Dynamon.
Yeah, Dynamon is really dangerous. I mean, that's his name, Dynamon. You know he's coming at you with a roller. And Cebu doing a really good job, though, of making sure to get back to his teammates. This is a really great high-level strategy that a lot of these players use. 1
minute left. Neither team with a strong advantage at this point. It's still any Squids match. However, we start to see the Ink Storm being deployed. Here's a look at the map. Dynamo with a little bit of an advantage. 50 left. 4-0 on the field right now.
That's a
4-0.
huge advantage, especially in the last minute. Oh man, Dynamo's going to be able to get a lot of ink on the ground.
4-0 advantage, you got to be like salt and pepper and push it, baby. Meanwhile, 36 seconds left, 4-3 on the field for Dynamo, and they're starting to get into the Rising Moon territory as we see some Tenta missiles from Kakashino being deployed. Rising Moon, they're going to have to fight hard to get that middle. However, Dynamo doing a fine job of just saving those specials. We see a little bit of action going here on the left side, but Dynamo able to hold it down, and another splat by Donamon right there. Going to avoid the heavy splatling damage right there. 10 seconds left. It's going to be close. Another splat for Dynamon. That's why they call him Dynamon. Another splat. Very impressive. Dynamo doing what you need to do at the end of this match, and that will most likely secure it, staying alive and getting those critical splats as we see Dynamo getting the initial victory in our round-robin match here in Turf War, Ashley.
Yeah, Dynamo really, like you said, pushed it in that last minute. They were able to get out there, get some really key splats. When they have 45 seconds left, they had a 4-0 advantage. That is going to allow you not only to put down ink in places maybe there is no ink, but also take away from your opponent.
Absolutely. You saw Kakashi and Dynamon at the very end there. Splatting opponents at the 1 minute mark. They both had 7 splats total, and so we should actually talking about that that splat statistic actually at the end of a match.
Yeah, this is really cool. So in Splatoon 2, instead of a how many times you got a splat, how many times you got splatted, we're going to see a combination of splats and assists. So this is going to be a really helpful thing for a lot of support players to get some of those really big numbers up on the screen, because if you're the Gretzky of Splatoon, I mean, you want to be rewarded for that. You want to be appreciated.
We saw midway through this match, nobody really had the advantage. It wasn't until about the 1 minute mark that Dynamo was able to get that initial hold, and it was all on that 4-0 advantage that they used right there, Eric. By the way, terrific job on the camera. We
Thank you
appreciate
very much.
Eric made sure that we get a great view of the field right there. But looking back at this match and some of these critical moments as we look at our instant replay, Dynamon going to be able to use that roller down below, going to avoid the Stingray, get the splat, and then yes, a 2-on-1, that's always going to work out well for the team with more squids on the field at that point, Ashley.
Absolutely, and Dynamon so good at being able to jump out of hiding and use that vertical splash to just wreck people, and it's really fantastic how he's just out there just popping out from behind a corner. I mean, I know if I ever saw Dynamon out in Inkopolis, I would not want to be on the receiving end of that roller.
You want to be friends with him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You want to befriend Dynamon.
Let's take an early look at our standings as we just got done with our first match in round robin play. You see Dynamo at the top with 1 victory. Meanwhile, Rising Moon 0-1. It's okay. We still love you. You got plenty of matches to play.